Good evening, everyone. It is Saturday, March the 6th, 2021. It is currently 5:57 p.m. Central Time. I'm here at Victory Baptist Church, located in Ovalo, Texas, and I'm missing what I need. We are supposed to be looking at the Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis, and I just looked down, and the book is not here. Where did the book go? So I'm going to have to do something very unprofessional. Will you forgive me? I am going to have to stand up and go find it. All right. Now, it has to be at the end of this table. I'm trying to sit up. I'm trying to sit up. Yeah, it's at the end of the table. So I'm going to have to go down to the end of this table, or actually there's two tables. So I have to go to the end of the second table. That's where the Imitation of Christ, the book, is sitting. I don't know why I thought it was sitting right here, but I was getting ready to say, you know what is sitting next to me? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis. And then everybody was going to go, yay! Everybody was going to do this. Everybody was going to do this. Okay, actually, nobody was going to do that. And you see how I used the sound effect to cover me getting up and going to get the book. You see, I picked the longest sound effect that I had, which was like 15 seconds, and that gave me time to go get the book. Actually, when I tell people we're going to be doing the Imitation of Christ, do I have no, I don't have a boo here. I don't have anybody going, boo! I don't have this. Now, some people may laugh, oh, he really thinks anybody cares about the Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis. No. Actually, we have one listener. We have one listener who seems to love the Imitation of Christ. One listener. So I am doing this for the audience of one. Hopefully, he still loves what we're doing. But yes, the Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis. When the pandemic started, right at the very beginning of the pandemic, I wanted to give everyone something that I thought would really get their mind off of all of the noise and yelling and screaming going on in society and get them to focus on a classic book that has had major impact on Christianity, no matter theological background. The book has transcended theological background, even though it's written by a Catholic. That's very important to know. Oh, there, I'm getting notifications. That was a loud notification. I don't know what that notification was, but that was loud. Okay. It's not showing up now. I was hitting the button on the iPad at the time the notification came in, so I missed it. So hopefully it was nothing important. Okay, that was a loud. I hadn't heard a notification that loud in a long time on the iPad. So I wanted everyone to read it. And again, it's important to note that it is written by a Roman Catholic from a Catholic perspective, because you've got to catch the Catholic theology. But again, I just find it fascinating. I was introduced to the Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis and an independent fundamental Baptist church that was opposed to Catholicism stronger than they were really opposed to anything else. I don't think they knew it was written by a Catholic. I think that they had walked into a bookstore and saw the Imitation of Christ and picked it up and like, oh, this is a book called challenging us to imitate Jesus Christ. Amen. And then they didn't catch the Catholicism in it. I don't think they caught the Catholicism in it. But if you've studied Catholicism, you can catch it at times. And I've tried to point that out, being someone obviously who went to a Catholic university to get a degree in Catholic theology. I like to be able to point that out. All right. So here we are. We're in chapter 21 of book 1. Remember, it's broken into 4 books. And I don't know how far we're going to get tonight. I don't know. Once we kind of stop for a while and then get back into it, there's always that kind of got to get back into the flow of it. All right. But we're going to get back into it and see how far we can make it tonight. Tonight, we are looking at the subject of contrition of heart. Contrition of heart. And this idea of contrition, let's just do this. I didn't think about it. Let's just do this. I could ask Siri really quick to do this for us. Oh, that's what happened. We just gained a subscriber on YouTube. Woohoo! We're up to 79. We were up to 80. Then we dropped to 76. Now we're back to 79. So we just gained a new subscriber on YouTube. Woohoo! For probably 15 minutes until they don't like me anymore. So yeah, there we are. So all right, let's do this. Okay, that was what the notification was. That's good that we have gained a follower on YouTube. That's wonderful. Or a listener. I don't like the word follower. Listener to us. All right, so let's type in the word contrition. Contrition, as defined in the dictionary, is the state of feeling remorseful and penitent. The state of feeling remorseful and penitent. Thomas à Kempis wants us to really meditate on this idea of contrition of the heart, feeling remorseful, feeling penitent. All right, we're going to read the first paragraph, which we covered in part 1 of Contrition of the Heart. We're going to see if we can try to finish at least the page that we're on. In my copy, I'm on page 45, again, chapter 21 of book 1. Here we go. If you will make any progress, keep yourself in the fear of God. If you want to make any progress as a Christian, you got to keep yourself in the fear of God. The fear of God is absolutely essential to your progress in the Christian life. And affect not too much liberty, but restrain all your senses under discipline, and give not yourself over to foolish mirth. Give yourself to contrition of heart, and you shall find devotion. Contrition lays open many good things, which distraction is wont quickly to destroy. So we need contrition. I think, and I think I kind of gave this idea that it's kind of a circle. To fear God, we have to see God as he truly is. When we see God as he truly is, we see ourselves as we truly are. Once we see ourselves as we truly are, that leads to contrition. That leads to remorseful and brokenness over our sinful nature, which then leads us to then fear God more. The fear of God leads to contrition. Contrition leads to more fear of God, which then helps us progress in our Christian life, keeps us strong in our spiritual life. But we have to constantly be looking to God to see him as he truly is. That's the only time we see ourselves as we truly are, which then leads us to more fear of God, right? Very important. But make sure he's very quick to say, contrition lays open many good things, which distraction is wont quickly to destroy. Distraction comes along and gets you not to focus on God. And if you're not focused on God, then you won't feel contrition of the heart. Because if you're not looking to God, you won't see yourself as you truly are. You'll think you're better. You'll think you're more righteous. You think you're more godly. It's only when we stare into the face of God that we find ourselves broken, and we see how that leads to a contrite heart. Now, next paragraph. It is a wonder that any man can ever perfectly rejoice in this life who considers and weighs his own state of exile and the many pearls of his soul. Wow, now those are strong words. He's like, it's any man that anyone can ever perfectly rejoice in this life. He's like, it would be, he almost finds it strange that anyone could ever truly rejoice in this life. And this is kind of the weird struggle within the Christian life. On one hand, we should be able to rejoice in what Jesus Christ did for us. But at the same time, can we have true rejoicing when we clearly see God as he is, and that means then we see ourselves as we are, then we see how messed up we really are. We can never forget how messed up we really are. That should lead to some rejoicing, but at the same time, that rejoicing can't stop us from seeing ourselves as we really are. It's this weird balance in the Christian life. I don't think we can fully rejoice until our sinful nature is removed in glorification. But he says, it's a wonder that any man can perfectly rejoice in this life who considers and weighs his own state of exile and the many perils of his soul. Through levity of heart and small concern for our failings, we become insensible of the sorrows of our souls. Now stop right there. It is through levity of heart and small concerns for our failings. All right, now, what is it? Levity of heart. In other words, we just want to have a good time. We just want to enjoy ourselves. We just want to have fun. That can distract us from what's really going on. And therefore, levity of heart and small concerns for our failings. How broken are you really are over your failings as a Christian? Now, again, what we have a tendency to do is we don't think we've fallen unless it's a big sin. And sadly, sometimes the only big sins that anyone I say it all the time, but there's a lot of truth to this. Sometimes the only sins that anyone seems to get really bothered about are sexual sins. But there's thousands of other sins that we don't seem that bothered by. We don't get broken over. They don't get all the attention. They don't get the headlines. Christian commits, some kind of sexual sin. Boom. Tune in at 10 o'clock for all the details. But a Christian committing all kinds of other sins, that doesn't get him. I know murder would obviously get the headlines. Murder. It just has to be these big ones. But we need to feel the weight of every sin we have to see that it's an affront. It's a rebellion to God. It's an attack upon God. We become insensible of the sorrows of our souls. But oftentimes we vainly laugh when we just ought to weep. There's times we vainly laugh, I messed up. Yeah, I committed a sin. Yeah, I have a problem, that, I don't, it's not that I love money. It's just I like it a lot. It's not that I hate that person. I just strongly dislike them. I don't covet that much. We kind of make a joke out of it. And he says sometimes we should actually be weeping. There is no true liberty or right joy, but in the fear of God accompanied with a good conscience. The only time we're truly going to experience liberty and the only time we're truly going to experience joy is when we fear God, and that's accompanied with a good conscience. When we fear God and we have a good conscience because A, we're being honest with ourselves, and B, we're doing what we can to try to strive to live a godly life. All right. Happy is he who can cast all of now this is very important. Happy is he who can cast off all distracting hindrances and gather himself to the one single purpose of holy contrition. Happy is he who can put away from him all that may defile his conscience or burden it. So he says, happy is the man who can cast off all things distracting him. Everything distracting you, and that you can gather yourself to that single purpose of holy contrition. We need a holy contrition in our life. Do we have a holy contrition? Now, again, that holy contrition, we need balance here, okay? Now, Thomas à Kempis sometimes, you got to take the whole book into consideration, right? If you take one chapter, you can get very imbalanced. Here he wants holy contrition. We need holy contrition, but at the same time, I think there should be some holy joy as well. Holy contrition will leave you laying on your face and sackcloth and ashes, saying, woe is me, I am undone. I'm a man of unclean lips, living in a land of unclean people. I don't deserve anything but hell. Yes, there are times we need to be there, but there's also a sense where Christianity does allow for you to look to the cross and say, thanks to God for his son, Jesus Christ, and his precious blood that forgives me of all of my sins, and I stand in him perfectly righteous. There should be rejoicing as well. We need holy contrition, but that holy contrition needs to be balanced by a holy joy found in what Jesus Christ has done for us. The holy joy is found in what Christ has done for us at the cross in salvation. So we do need a holy contrition. We do need a holy contrition, and I think it's missing in a lot of our lives. Think of it this way. This is now, stay with me here. Bear with me. I got to try to articulate this as clearly as I can. Holy contrition should not keep us from holy joy, but holy joy should not keep us from holy contrition. Right? Holy contrition should lead me to the foot of the cross, which should lead to holy joy. But that holy joy should not take away the holy contrition of me being ever aware of my own sin. Look, I think humility, I've said this so many times, humility, true humility is the ever-present awareness of your own sinfulness. True humility is your awareness of your sinfulness. without an awareness of your sinfulness, look, the lack of awareness to your own sinfulness leads to pride. The only solution to pride is an awareness of your failure and awareness of your sin. Sometimes we never experience true humility as a Christian. I think we experience true humility maybe at our conversion, but I think the only time that sometimes the next time we truly feel true humility, the next time we truly experience true humility is when we commit some big sin, some big scandal. Then we're broken again. True humility is the ever-present awareness. It's an ever-present awareness. And I'm saying present because it's present, it's there, it's active, it's consistent. True humility is a consistent awareness of one's own sin, not the sins of anyone else. Humility is where you are more aware of your sins than the sins of anyone else. What do you notice first? Your sin or the sin of someone else? What are you more worried about? The sins of others or the sin of yourself? What bothers you more? The sin of others or the sin of yourself? What irritates you? What do you talk about? The sins of other people or your own sins? Do you spend more time covering up your own sins or more time confessing them, acknowledging them? So much of Christianity is a denial of our own sin. It's a cover-up of our own sin, pretending that we're more godly than we are. That does not lead to true humility. I think there's some very important statements that I just made right there, okay? The last sentence here, or last paragraph, I should say. Strive manfully. It says, strive manfully. One habit is vanquished of another. If you can let others alone in their works, they likewise shall gladly let you alone in yours. So in other words, it seems to be saying strive manfully to get rid of, to vanquish these bad habits and these sinful things. You got to work on it. It's not just going to magically happen. But contrition should lead to you striving manfully, as he puts it, to get rid of these things. Your contrition should lead to it, but I want to make sure you understand contrition should lead to joy because it should drive you to the foot of the cross. But listen, contrition is what leads to humility. Humility is the constant awareness of your own sin. Humility is where you're more aware of your sin than the sin of others. Humility is the impossible task of being more worried about your sin than the sins of other people, more aware of your sin than the sins of other people. We need a holy contrition. Holy contrition will lead to a holy humility. We have to be so aware of our own sin. David was probably never more aware of his own sin. He probably was never more aware of his own sin than he was when he was confronted with the things that had happened with Bathsheba. That's probably when he realized it. And I'll just stop right here because he's gonna kind of go in a different direction here. But I'll stop right there. I know we're only 18 minutes. I'm gonna stop right there because there's a lot there to unpack. That was from the Contrition of Heart, chapter 21 of the Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis. All right. Please, as always, I love your feedback. I love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear how you process this information, what you're doing with it. Is it challenging to you? Is it helping you? Whatever. Look, I'm doing these things for your benefit, so any feedback is always appreciated. All right, I'll stop right there. You can email me at newsif@yahoo.com. Newsif@yahoo.com. That's newsif@yahoo.com. Everyone have a great night. God bless.